it takes just a generation or two to just lose the core value or the language. It can be culture, or it can be an art form which the family knew for so long and just lost. Imagine he will never be the best driver, but he could have been the best weaver in the town. But he just lost the opportunity because the money was not given, or he just didn't know where to use it or how to get it.
Welcome to Mindful Businesses, presented by Sarani, and I'm your host, Vidya Iyer. In our podcast, we bring to you brands which are mindful in their practices and processes. A mindful business adopts and employs sustainable social, economic, and environmental practices. Today, we have with us Sujata Biswas and Tanya Biswas, co-founder of Suta, Woven Uninterrupted Simplicity. Welcome, Sujata and Tanya.
Thank you so much, Vidya, for having us here.
Hello. Hi. I'm very happy that I'm here today.
Yeah, and I'm Sujata, and
I'm Tanya.
India is well known for its fabrics. How many different types of traditional hand-woven fabrics are there in India?
So the beauty of India is there's so many different states, and every state has a very deep-rooted culture, and every craft is inspired by that culture. So it's not just the weaving of, let's say, cotton or silk. There are different kinds of silks: eri silk, mulberry silk, tussar silk.
There are 1,000 to name. Yeah. I think we can't stop.
Yeah, and even the texture of the cotton which is used can be so different. But apart from that, what I was talking about, the craftsmanship, which is about the mirror work probably, or just say simple stitching on the fabric, it's so different and they're so varied that just one state we took at least a year, and even now I think we don't even know how many other things we have not yet discovered.
Yeah, so I think our aim is to actually go to each of these states and explore all the crafts and different kinds of weaving that they do. We cannot end at one point because it's varied, and each and every group of people are doing a different kind of art.
And the state that you have been working with is Bengal.
Yes, West Bengal is where we started from, because our father was posted there, and he had some contacts, and it was very funny how we started actually, because we were looking for fabrics to make dresses out of it. And when we traveled with our father to find out probably fabrics, and we saw saris are so beautiful and you can wear it different ways, and you don't have to cut it and make something out of it. It itself is such a beautiful attire, and we always loved saris because our moms and aunts wore saris. And then we went there to the village and we found there's so many ways they are making saris. The different motifs they're making. Some are actually inspired by nature, some are just geometric prints, the different things people are working on. So
basically we started with Bengal, but we have gone to Meghalaya. Now we are in Madhya Pradesh, Banaras, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, and a lot of other places we are still working on. But I won't say that we have explored all the art and crafts from that specific area.
Can you talk a little bit about the history of Indian textiles and how it was impacted during the colonial times when Britain ruled India?
So it is kind of sad that the fast fashion entered the textile industry, which is really sad for weavers because the price came down with the fabrics like georgettes and chiffons and satins. The cottons which are machine made, they came in, and as the cost reduced, the weaver community and people who were wearing khadi and celebrating that got impacted a lot. And that's, even now we face it, right? Fast fashion has killed slow fashion, and though slow fashion is again come back, but then I think it's very difficult to make sure that place again comes back.
Suta primarily makes saris, which is a traditional Indian attire. Can you explain to our listeners who are not familiar with a sari, what exactly is a sari, how long it is, and where do people wear it and why and how?
So saris are, like we said, uninterrupted simplicity, and it's a piece of fabric which is uncut and untouched, I would say. It adapts to the body shapes and sizes. Today you're feeling bloated, so you can't wear a certain kind of dress, but in a sari there's nothing as such. You can drape as you wish.
So we call it a non-judgmental attire. It'll never judge what is your figure. Is it 0 now, or is it 8, or it's 12 or 14? Beauty of saris, you can pass it on through generations. A lot of people get scared of saris because the way it's draped, they think that this is the only way a sari can be draped, but it's actually not true.
Yeah, a lot of people come and tell us, "Mujhe sari साड़ी पहननी नहीं आती is that means that I don't know how to wear a sari and it looks complicated. But the beauty of it is that you can wrap it as you wish, as your mood is.
You can make pleats, you cannot make pleats. If you can walk wearing a sari, that means a sari is draped. You don't have to have a particular way of wrapping it once, twice, make pleats, wrap it again, put it on your shoulder. No, you don't have to do that. In olden days, if you see, women used to do so many household chores, run around wearing saris, because they used to not think sari as a very complicated attire, which has become now, which is very saddening to think about it, but very glad that it's again coming back, because there are a lot of people who are experimenting with the way sari is worn. Not just with a blouse, they can wear it with a jacket, they can wear it with the top, with the shirt, and you can actually wear saris to any place you want to. And it's actually lovely and formal.
So the typical length is about 6 yards or 9 yards?
Yeah. So it's a 5.5 meters or a 6.5 meters, and if it's with a blouse piece, it's a little longer, which is a meter extra, and 9 yards is typically what the sari is called, which is 9-yard sari, which is a normal sari. You can drape it the way you want to.
And there are different components to wearing a sari. So you would have
a blouse, an underskirt or a petticoat. People do wear it on top of a pants, jeans, or any kind of a skirt they are wearing, and wear the sari a little up so that the skirt comes down and it looks like a different color. So there are a lot of experiments with sari, but the basic thing is you can wear any blouse, top or a shirt or a jacket, and underneath you have to wear something. There is also a way you don't have to wear something underneath, where you wrap the sari in half and then tie it around.
And also people do fallen edging to a sari to make the sari a little firm in the bottom and fall in a better way. What we have done is in Suta, we have blouses, we have petticoats, we have fall edging, and we have saris. So we want that the world of sari is simpler for people.
So fall is a border put on the inside of the sari to literally make the sari fall properly when you wear. Like it's like having some kind of
a heavy
hem on your skirt.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, which is invisible, basically.
It's invisible, yes. Yeah. It's on the inside. Talking about a rise and fall of women wearing saris, I worked in India in the 80s, and the corporate dress code was Indian ethnic clothes, either sari or salwar kameez. And now it's changed. Most people wear Western clothes. And it's similar if you look at some of the Far East countries like Korea or Japan. They had these lovely kimonos. And now kimonos are in Japan, especially as far as I know, it's worn by the older generation, and the newer generation wears it on their wedding day or, on very, very special occasions. Do you see similar changes happening in India? And do you think it is changing with brands like you promoting saris?
When we started Suta, we never thought we'll be like a game changer. We would want to make people start loving saris again. Gladly it has happened. A lot of younger generations have started buying saris and not rent it from their mothers. You know why it happened? Because I guess there was a kind of sari which used to be worn at home, like a regular wear, and there was something which was to be worn at weddings. When like a kid and you don't want to be wearing saris often, you would only borrow your mom's saris which are wedding wear and wear it to college, and you would look elderly. And that's what we changed. We made saris pretty, light and regular wear, and that's the reason shift has happened, which has happened.
I must interrupt. I've been drooling over your saris like for 2.5 months from the US, and I would go to your website regularly, and then it'll be like sold out. I'm like, I need it now. I loved saris, but I'd kind of stopped in between, but I have purchased 2 of yours.
Why would you stop? That's the question we wanted to ask. Why would you stop? It's such a beautiful dress.
But for me, especially, I was in the States, so in the climate-wise, it is not conducive.
That's why we have introduced jackets and, thicker fabric saris, and different climate people should be able to wear saris if they really wish to. And we always wanted youngsters to wear more saris, because even me and Sujata, when we were in the corporates, when we were working, we wanted to wear a lot of saris, and we used to go to local stores, and there we usually didn't find the kind of saris we were looking for, which is breathable, which is comfortable and yet pretty. That is when we decided that we should launch this range, which is not very expensive and should be light and breathable for us.
That's what happened. So the demand for this regular wear reduced. Shops stopped making these. They only made saris which are wedding wear or party wear. And that's when I guess the entire disruption happened, when people just forgot that saris can be regularly worn. And I think a good time when we also came in together. So,
and I think your saris and your brand has an attitude. It has a feminist vibe to it in terms of your blouses, or even, just not wearing the matching blouse. The latent creativity of the youngsters, they are not constrained. If it's a black sari, they could wear a purple blouse.
That's what I'm saying. Sari is so versatile, and we stopped thinking it like that. And in earlier days, I've seen my grandmom wearing a black sari with a pink blouse. And I've seen her sometimes wear it at home, not when she used to go out. But I've seen that kind of a mix and match. And I used to never shy away from doing that. Yeah, I'm glad that notion has broken now, that you have to wear saris in a certain way and with certain kind of a blouse.
And with all these changes, the beauty is that the weavers community is so happy. Artisans and weavers, they say that, ma'am, you're making these, do people actually wear it? Because they thought that, a certain kind of saris only sell, and they are
like, for example,
happy.
The Halloween sari which we did, so the collection which was inspired by Halloween, and we had spiders crawling, and it's like, how can somebody wear saris with spiders and eyes all over? That's not typically how we've ever made saris, and this won't sell, madam. Then what would you do? And I'm like, that's where we should start experimenting. And these guys are so happy. I can't tell you. I just seen a photo of one of our weaver's wife. He was just wearing the spider sari, and I was laughing. And so this guy was laughing at me, saying, who wears this sari? And the wife is nicely spotting the spider sari. So it's very interesting.
Talk about your journey. Sujata and Tanya are obviously sisters. What brought you together to start this brand?
It's such an interesting question, and we love answering it again and again. It's a very interesting story. Me and Tanya, since childhood, we were very entrepreneurial, and we always wanted to have something of our own. We used to discuss about making bags and dolls out of handkerchief and selling it. My mom used to wonder.
In a cart.
Yeah, my mom used to wonder, why would you sell things in a cart? You're studying and you would do something else. Like, no, mom, what if you throw us out of a house? We have to do something. And we used to talk like that.
I think we always were fascinated by the concept of selling and buying. And then those dreams were there. We studied engineering, then we were MBAs, and then we were in the corporates. And then after that, we came in Mumbai, both of us.
Yeah.
And we lived together. When in the evening, when we used to sit and have tea, those dreams again came back.
Apart from almost 8 years, and then we came back together, we were like, what are we doing? Really, do we really want it? And Tanya's like, yeah, it's paying us a lot, but is it really what we should be doing? We are both very creative, and we said, are we really using it? And over a cup of tea, we decided we should do something, we should start something. And we started with a photography page. And she was clicking photos. We both used to go and do photography, and then we decided we should do product photography. And when we started making dresses, and we were like, yes, this is what we really like. And that's where I told you, right? We were looking for dresses.
All throughout this way, we always thought that, what we're doing in the corporates, I know we're impacting the society some way, but I can't see it directly. What can we do? What should we do? And from there, the journey began, and we reached here.
Yeah, when the dresses came, we said, let's go and meet the weavers. Because then we'll impact these people, right? We'll know we are buying from them, and they're not dying, and they're not being... So there are these middlemen who just take their products away, don't pay them the money then, probably they'll pay half. And after 6-7 months, they'll pay probably another 0.25, and they will never get the full amount. Even probably sometimes they don't even get the cost. That's why these guys leave their jobs, become drivers, become any machine kind of work.
And also they train their kids to do something else and not learn what they have been doing forever.
Yeah, we met a guy, and that guy was saying, I'm learning driving. And I said, your dad is earning so much. He's like, yes, you're just looking at the revenue. You don't know how much cost has gone in. So I asked him, and he's like, sometimes you just don't get the cost even. That was the point. And I said, will you work for us? And we started with 2 weavers, and now we have a family of 1,400, which is huge. And that kid is working for the father. He learned crafts, and he now works for making the jacquards so that the weaving happens.
And the beauty of all of this is the entire family is engaged, and the wife, the mother, someone is putting tassels, someone is washing the saris and ironing them. So all these people, they have become a family now to us.
Yeah, we're making sure that the systems are replicated, and we can reach as many villages as possible. So that's the supply side of it. And thankfully the demand worked for us, so we are able to scale.
So these are traditional weavers who probably for the past 15 generations were only weavers. So it's in their gene.
Yeah, even the surnames are like that. So there's a Boshak, which is they weave. So that's the entire village, everyone's Boshak. So, it is sad that they were saying that, oh, my son has left. He's become a mechanic in West Bengal. Somebody said, my son has gone to South. He's doing some office boy role.
And these are talented artisans.
And beautiful work. You cannot imagine. There are blouses which we have where people have worked with hand, the embroidery. If you look at the embroidery from far, you'll think it's machine made. But it's actually so fine. It's
beyond beautiful.
I don't know how they make it. It's when I hold it and I sometimes say, oh, weavers are so lucky that, they're working with you guys. I'm like, no, we are lucky. That thank God that they didn't leave this. You wouldn't have been able to see such work if that person would have left it and joined something else or done something else.
So you're talking about the design. So some of them you create, the new ones, the Halloween theme and those sort of Christmas and Halloween designs. But are most of the others very traditional patterns, or are they traditional techniques with your patterns?
Yes. So how we started is because we wanted it to be very, very simple, and simplicity is what we couldn't find in market. So there are certain saris which you see on TV or anywhere, or a person wearing it next to you, you'll know it's a Suta sari. So that's there. We have a signature simple style which is very, very typical. But the fact that, let's say, a work called Jamdani, it's inspired by nature. We would not want to change it. Though we introduce certain simplicity, like we try to not have it all over the body, probably we'll only have it in the aanchal or the border. Those things we do. But we don't really change everything always. We work with a lot of colors. We make the flower simpler if it's very complicated. So those things we do, but we try to not change a lot of things.
I raised my kids in the US, and I never used to speak the mother tongue to them, the Tamil. I used to speak to them in English for really no good reason. Plain inertia. It takes a lot of effort to preserve your culture. And one time I was at a fair where there was a Native American lady who had her stall, and I was talking to my daughter in English, and she looked at me and she said, "You don't talk to your child in your language." I was like, oh, well, I should, I guess. She told me, it takes only 2 generations to lose your language. And my jaw dropped. And since then, I have spoken to my kids in Tamil, which is my mother tongue. Similarly, like you said, within 1 or 2 generations, this craft will be gone. So what you are doing is pretty incredible. How do you train them? How do you bring them back to the fold?
For instance, Patachitra, which is done in Odisha, it's an art form where they use a brush to paint directly on a piece of fabric. An art piece, which is a meter long, is framed and is sold for around 80,000-90,000 to 100,000
rupees, which is about $1,500.
$1,500.
Correct, $1,500, around that much. Imagine a sari, how much it would cost. Who would buy it?
Which is 6.5 meters.
6.5 meters long sari. You do the maths. Imagine who will buy it and who will wear it and how many times. So what we did was, these people were actually losing out on their work because they were not able to sell their saris.
Not even paintings because they're so expensive. An art connoisseur, how many will you buy and put it on the wall? So we approached these guys. We made the sari design simpler by putting it only on the borders and only on the end of the sari, which is the aanchal.
And we made it very less intricate. So the efforts were lesser, but the art was still there. And you could still call it Patachitra. And we have launched the range of saris and people are loving it. Because I could say that I own a Patachitra without spending thousands and thousands of rupees on it. So I think this way we can preserve art, or a lot of effort goes into it. We can make it simpler and still continue making it.
Yeah, but it's really sad what you said is that it takes just a generation or two to just lose the core value or the language. It can be culture or it can be an art form which the family knew for so long and just lost. Imagine he will never be the best driver, but he could have been the best weaver in the town. But he just lost the opportunity because the money was not given, or he just didn't know where to use it or how to get it. With Suta, what is happening is we make sure that these guys are paid above average. In that village, I can proudly say that some guys, really, these guys are paid the highest and they will never get that amount from anybody else. Our payment system is super transparent. The moment the product reaches us, the checking happens and the ironing happens. Before it gets shipped to us, the money goes into their account. And it's never that it reaches us, we again check, or we sell it and then I'll pay you. Nothing is done. They deliver it. After the checking is done, if it's perfect, we just pay them. It goes into the bank account.
Sometimes what happens is the communication goes wrong. So the manager says one color, I would have said some other colors. This...
Yeah, they would not understand probably magenta or lavender. Probably we have told them and they have made a pink. But we take it back. So we don't say rejects. We take the rejects as well. And we don't say you keep it, because they would have spent 1,000 rupees or let's say $50-$60 or something on the product. Just because we said no because the color didn't match, he would just be lying, holding that sari and doing nothing with it. But we take it back because it's our design. It was just a communication error, not his fault. So we take the rejects.
We use those, and sometimes we have realized that those have become the biggest hits.
Yeah, sometimes serendipity. Yeah.
So because they've actually been doing it for so many generations, so intuitively they may know what works in a different way, though they don't know the modern market. They know the market.
Once what happened, we made crowns and a wing. It became upside down. Actually, I got furious saying that, oh my God, you spent months and months on it and you made the upside down crown. Now, how do one wear the sari? But now I've realized that it looks like just like a motif, not like a crown, but we can just wear it probably. And
yeah, I wore it twice. I wore once with the reverse motif. Other time I wore it on the different side. I made the sari turn. This was on this side and the motif was right.
The one thing that I noticed about your saris, firstly, they are authentic in terms of what they say they are when it's hand woven, because it's really hard to find the authentic hand woven materials even in India right now. And on top of that, they were actually reasonably priced. In some ways, it made me doubt that it was what it was. I had a friend who was from West Bengal, and I asked her, hey, look at these saris. Do they look authentic to you? So I'm glad that you're able to pay the weavers well, preserve the culture, make a profit, make a difference, and also make it affordable so that I can go out and just buy 2 beautiful 6 yards of hand woven, specially designed saris. How do you do the pricing?
This is where a lot of I've seen a lot of my friends go wrong who have started their business. Our saris start from somewhere around $16 to $20 one sari. So that beautiful light as air fabric, which is skin friendly, to get so many yardage of fabric with so less. A lot of people ask me, why don't you triple the price? There is a customer base. People are loving your work. We can just increase the price and make more profits. Me and Tanya have always discussed the issue with why we couldn't buy is that because when we used to like plain saris, they were very expensive. When we wanted simple designs, they were more expensive than they are. We said this is what the people are doing. So if there is a huge demand, they are trying to squeeze out money, and we decided we'll never do it. So the best sellers for us are still the saris, which the Made in Heaven Malmal, which we talk about, is that range. And we have decided we will never increase the price. How it worked out for us is good that we studied business MBA, and it helped us a lot. So economies of scale play a lot here, and also the way we hire people, the resources in our company it's super amazing. We have hired mostly local talents. Probably they don't have so much of education to get into a good place. We hired them, we trained them. Now they are getting good salary. They're doing fantastic work. And
they're very dedicated
their
in the
loyalty.
Work.
You gain their loyalty
very
and
loyal.
Trust. Yeah.
And we even have people who are passionate about these products that we make. They're from different fields. We have an air hostess with us
who's the head of operations now.
Yeah. So from different fields, we have people who we have hired them. We're working together because they're very passionate in their lives.
And they are Suta customers. So they wrote to us because we are hiring written on our website. They'll apply because they love Suta products and they already have the cupboards full of Suta saris. And imagine the amount of love that person will put in because they already love the product and they invested in it so much that their productivity automatically is super high. Even if it's a Sunday and me and Tanya are working because there's so much to do, some of the guys will just come over and help us. That's the culture.
So this is how we could keep the costs, the prices as they are. Plus, we have decided that if I personally can't buy a sari which is of this price, we always think that a 25-year-old, will that person come and buy it? will that person see the value in it? So that's how our pricing goes.
Talk about the fabrics, especially mull, and why was it considered the fabric for royalty and the Britishers' obsession with mull in colonial India?
Britishers' love with mull is never ending because of the lightness of the fabric. So you know what? Mull was always known as lighter than the air. When you beat the cotton which flies in the air, it's from there the mull is made. That's the thread of mull, which is the lightest, finest. Initially, mull from Dhaka the cotton used to be only kept with only the water of Ganges. Now that has changed, of course. It's not just the Ganges water which is being used, but initially that's a history, that's a story of mull. The mull which is made, it's so light and it's so super fine. It's 100 thread count. If you even hold it, it's a beautiful see-through fabric feel you'll get. It absorbs moisture like nothing else. I used it to wrap my baby, so you can imagine the softness of that fabric.
Yeah, so that is what we call as made in heaven mull.
You were saying something about the water of the Ganges. So that water is used to grow the cotton?
No,
soak it. So when?
Initially when the Britishers with the actual mull from Dhaka used to be soaked in river of Ganges only, and that was the mull.
Because you consider the river Ganges to be the purest.
Purest, yeah.
So to make the fabric the purest, lightest and breathable, it was soaked in that water. It was the pre-processes
of making
cotton.
The yarn. That's why we call it made in heaven mull. And when we reached the village, when we first saw the fabric, mull was not available as just the mull sari in the market, because people used to print on it or make something out of it, because they would not think such a light fabric you can carry it with so much ease, or you can just wear it to work or outside, just the mull.
And it was always starched.
Right. And we removed that. That's one more notion, which we don't like stiff saris. We rather like something which is flowy.
It was always in our dreams, because our grandmother, she used to tie the saris in ropes, which was tied from one lychee to one mango tree. And we used to play amongst the sari. We used to play hide and seek and other games around the saris, because it was so fragrant and soft. And during summer vacations, that was the best memory that we had.
And that's why our saris smell in a typical way. If you buy Suta saris, you'll first witness the smell of the sari. We wash the sari in soap nut and few other the things.
Secret ingredients, I would call it.
We call it. We mix it in a certain ratio so that to get that typical smell. We wanted that smell to be there.
So this is probably the first fashion brand which uses smell too.
Because we wanted all the senses to get activated. So your eyes are happy because you see the sari. You hold the fabric which is made in heaven, and you anyway get transported to some other dreamland. And then the smell. It has to be all-encompassing. So,
talk about the dyes. We've already spoken about some of the yarns that you used, your signature mull saris.
We use the azo-free dyes. Have been experimenting a lot with natural dyes. The only issue we face, because it's an online company, if we shoot mango yellow, the moment it changes a little bit of color, people would return the product.
With organic dyes, maintaining the color is very difficult. So from today, I'm using turmeric from a certain farm and I'm dyeing my sari. If I change the farm and I get turmeric from another place,
it becomes darker.
The color changes drastically. And for an online company like ours, to maintain the same color, because people are really sensitive, the returns are higher. People think that we are cheating. So to establish that faith of people on us, we're waiting for that. And probably will make people aware that this is going to happen, this may happen. Even the sun plays a big factor. If it's not drying in a day, it takes 2 days, then the color changes again. We are experimenting with the dyes now. The fabrics are coming to us. We are checking them. And very soon probably
there'll be a collection, yes, which is just organic dye.
And also sometimes organic dyes, the natural dyes seem to bleed.
They bleed, and that's the natural way it's supposed to be. People love talking about indigo, but they bleed and they say, oh, it's bleeding. But they don't realize if you get an indigo which doesn't bleed, that means it's not natural. So it's like a balance. You have to either you get used to the bleeding and get the organic dye, or you just live with chemicals.
So what are the different products you carry besides saris?
We just launched the baby swaddles, the infant wear. because I used it and I got so many requests from the moment any mother sees my son's name is Rara, so I call him Rara. So anybody checks Rara's those swaddles or the napkin he uses, they ask me, what's this fabric? And I'm like, this is my sari. I've cut it into swaddles or the napkins. They order it. So they cut it and they say, oh, just cut it and make it for us. So I launched a collection. We are again launching, because it's a super hit collection, we're launching more of baby swaddles and napkins. We are also working on dresses for girls and ladies, yes. And menswear is where we aim to get into. But that's again
using mostly malmal
and handmade natural dyes.
Natural dyed fabric.
So we just launched pashmina, beautiful pashmina, all hand woven. We work with this cluster of 400 weavers in Kashmir. One day probably I would record all of their stories. You must hear them. It's so fascinating, the amount of love they have for their own scarves. It's like they're giving their own baby to you, because they've spent so much time weaving one of the scarves. They say, madam, just take care of this. So much of love, which every sari, everything which is, when it spends so much time in a weaver's house, it becomes a part of the family.
We have written blogs about it on the website. You can check that how much love has been put in a sari. So we have written sari diaries from the sari, because the sari has seen the journey. Also, the Kashmiri people who have woven them, they've woven it in a beautiful technique. The shawls have golden on one side and a color on the other side.
So it's a sari and it's a shimmer side. One side is shimmer and one side is matte. So that's the beauty of the pashminas. We've just launched and it's doing really, really well. So we might be launching more colors soon in shawls. We're also working with fabric jewelry. Since Suta means thread, we want to do as much possible with fabrics. So fabric jewelry probably is where we might get into very soon. We're working on the embroidery on it.
And you're basically only online. You're not available in any retail stores at this point.
We have our own store in Bombay. So that's the first store and it's been 2 months. We really have been getting overwhelming response on having the store, because there's so many people who don't buy online. So they are super happy that we are available. But then we've been getting a lot of complaints from different states saying, just in Bombay and we have to fly to Bombay to meet you guys. So we've been getting a lot of requests.
And we're in a very hideaway place. It's a green tiny corner where you won't expect that there's a store there.
So where is your store?
It's in Kalina, Santa Cruz, and it's in a dead-end residential lane. There's a park close to it, and it's green and it's very beautiful. So we've just put in a corner space. And we have no plans so far to have any other retail outlet.
Thank you, Sujata and Tanya, for coming on Mindful Businesses. Wishing you all the best on your journey.
Thank you so much. It was really like living through our entire journey. It was beautiful talking to you.
It was lovely chatting with you. I loved coming here.
Thank you.
If you're a creator of a mindful brand or would like to recommend a mindful brand to be featured on our show, send us a message on our Facebook or Instagram page. We recorded this podcast at Radio Vani Studio in Mumbai, India. Tatum Gale composed the music for this podcast. This is Vidya Iyer for Mindful Businesses.